Hey guys, okay, so I apologize for not giving you Wednesday yesterday, but I'm going to go ahead and give you Wednesday and Thursday today. Since they're on the same sheet, it makes the most sense to give them to you. I'm going to just go ahead and make that a little bit clearer there. Okay, so it's Words of Wisdom Wednesday. I just want to let you know I believe in you. I know that you guys know this stuff, so I apologize if my videos are boring, but you need to see them anyways, just in case. You never know. All right, so I'm going to keep Monday's word list right here next to me. And I see which word from Monday's list means to say what will happen before it occurs. So before, we know, is the prefix pre. And to say what happens, we know say is the root word dict. So it's predict, which means to say what happens before it occurs. Okay. More water is needed when you are, I almost combined that anyways, in a hot climate. And we're talking about plural nouns, so in hot climates. Climate is just a standard or regular plural. We'll just add the S to the end, and we just get climates. Use the correct comparative or superlative. Remember that comparative is just when we're comparing two or more things. I'm sorry, two things, and superlative is like it is the absolute. So when we're looking here, we have the blank easy way to solve this problem is to drink more water. So we'd have to say the easier way or the easiest way. So let's try them both. The easier way to solve this problem is to drink more water, or the easiest way to solve this problem is to drink more water. Well, we are comparing this way to every other way that's out there. So it's superlative, and it would be the easiest way, because I'm saying that there is no other way that's easier. We're going to correct the sentence by adding a comma. Not drinking enough water can lead to headaches, comma, irritability, comma, and other issues. Anytime we start a list, we separate the things on that list with commas. So in this case, we're creating a list of what could happen if you're not drinking enough water. And so we start with the first thing, which is headaches. Then we put the comma, then we say irritability, and then comma, and then other issues. All right. Then we have, I thought my trip to the museum was going to be wonderful, but it was dreadful because of the traffic. So in this case, dreadful just means terrible. Literally means that you were full of dread. You feared it. You didn't like it. And so it is terrible. Again, we're going to end up having to figure out how we found this meaning and the context clues. And we can see that we thought it was going to be wonderful, but it was dreadful because of the traffic. Now, I don't know too many people who like traffic. So traffic is obviously a very negative thing. And we're going to say that traffic is essentially what led us to believe that dreadful meant terrible. Next, we have name the figure of language, imagery, onomatopoeia, and simile. Remember that imagery is really showing you what's happening. Onomatopoeia is a set of words that sound or create the sound that they describe. And then simile is comparing two unlike things using like or as. So zoom, she raced by us. And so in this case, this is onomatopoeia. And again, I just love writing this word because it is the most interestingly spelled word I think I can think of. And it just sounds fun, onomatopoeia. But the word zoom is onomatopoeia because as you say zoom, it's so hard to not make it sound like something's going fast. Zoom. Oh yeah, see, even just the Z sound makes it sound like you're going fast. So, and then write your own idiom. Can create or add any number of idioms, but one that comes to mind after putting my 5-year-old to bed is she's driving me up a wall. Now, please understand that I absolutely 100% adore my little girl. But I'm sure your parents would tell you the same thing about your siblings and probably you. And you could probably say the same thing. They're all driving me up a wall, Miss Leonard. All right, let's look at Thursday. Which word from Monday's list means kind words spoken about a person who has passed away? And in this case, our word is eulogy. A eulogy is a nice speech given, typically at somebody's services, talking about how great they were or sharing a wonderful story. We're going to use the correct verb tense. The workmen drink more water tomorrow. So I'm looking for something that means in the future. And so we know that the workmen will drink more water tomorrow. Anything future typically uses the word will. So in this case, will drink. Is this simple, compound, or complex? Kids need between 10 to 14 cups of water every day. Notice there is not a single comma in this sentence. So that tells me I don't have two independent clauses separated by a comma and a conjunction. It also tells me I don't have a dependent clause and an independent clause, which would indicate a complex sentence. So this is ultimately just a nice, simple sentence. As you become more scholarly writers, you should vary the types of sentences that you use in your writing. You should definitely be beyond writing essays that use all simple sentences. But your essays also shouldn't just contain complex sentences. Complex sentences have their place in writing, but they often can get very long and heavy. So if you try to use too many of them, it really discourages a reader from reading anything that you've written. So use a variety of simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences in your writing to make sure that you keep your reader entertained and hooked, and as well as think about the stories that you've read. When there are exciting moments in a story, you might see some much more simple sentences because the speed of which the story is occurring goes a little faster. And as things are being explained, you might see some more complex type sentences, and compound sentences are somewhere in the middle. So we're going to correct this sentence. Luckily, the solution to this problem is simple. So luckily, first of all, every sentence should start with a capital letter. Luckily, comma, the solution to this problem is simple. And we end every sentence with punctuation so that we know that that means it's time to stop. Highlight the clues from yesterday's question that helped you determine the meaning of dreadful. We already did that. We kind of circled it because I don't have my highlighter out. Name the figurative language: idiom, hyperbole, simile. Remember that a hyperbole is a gross exaggeration, gross meaning large. Simile, comparison of two things using the words like or as. And then idiom, as we wrote down here, an idiom is kind of this saying that we use that has more of a figurative meaning. It's not meant to be literal. So my daughter is not literally driving me up a wall. First of all, she doesn't have a license. Second of all, I don't know how a car would go vertical. And lastly, well, I've seen the way she drives her Barbie car, and yeah, we would just be crashing into things. We wouldn't be going up anything. So, again, but that's not what that means. Ultimately, more figuratively, it means she's driving me a little crazy. And so that's what an idiom is. I have a ton of chores to do after school. The key here is a ton. A ton meaning, oh, I have so many chores to do after school. That's probably not the case. You probably have one or two chores to do every day. But sometimes when you want to do something else, it feels like there are so many things that you have to do. And I'm only thinking about my own daughters who, oh, I don't want to have to do my homework. There's a TV show on. So hyperbole, again, it's an exaggeration. You don't actually have a ton of chores to do after school. It's probably one or two. But when you want to do something else, you really do feel like it's more than you can handle. What does the figurative language used above mean? It just means you feel like you have a lot to do. We could even say you feel like you are, how do I use these big words, inundated with housework. And inundated just means swamped or overrun with housework. All right, guys. There's Wednesday and Thursday. I'll leave those out for just a second for you. If you need more time, go ahead and pause the video and you'll get all of the answers. If you have other questions, please make sure you ask me during our Zoom session. Bye.